Electoral Commission is heading to the Constitutional Court. The IEC is appealing the Electoral Court ruling, which led the Commission to postponing the by-elections last week in 4 provinces, including the Northwest. Meanwhile, the ANC says it will apply to be friends of the court during the IEC's appeal at the Constitutional Court.
The Electoral Court found that the IEC failed to comply with last year's Constitutional Court ruling. That judgment included that the voters' roll must have the addresses of voters. However, according to the IEC, more than 62% of the electorate don't have formal addresses.
Since the inception of the voters' roll in 1998, the Electoral Commission has held the view that disenfranchising a voter on the basis of a lack of a formal address would be unacceptable in a country where there are millions of people who live in informal settlements and in rural communities.
It is unclear how soon the Constitutional Court will be able to provide that clarity. However, that's not deterring the IEC from running the by-elections it postponed last week. What is clear is that the Tlokwe case will affect how the elections are run in the future, and it's a race against time. The municipal elections must be held by August the 16th.
There has never been a consideration to postpone the election. That question has never arisen, and it will not arise. We are confident that we'll be able to deal with all the issues that we're supposed to be dealing with, and we will then be able to deliver the elections within constitutionally stipulated period.
The IEC will host its first voter registration campaign this weekend. Aldrin Simpier, SABC News, Centurion.
A highly contested local elections with huge expectations of campaigning across the country. The ANC remains adamant that it will still be in charge post the local elections and has called on South Africans to go out and register.
We are calling on all people, especially those who are not registered, to register this coming weekend, 5 and 6, to make sure that they are on the voters' roll so that they participate and change and transform the communities which they come from.
Other political parties have also made calls for potential voters to go and check if their details are up to date.
Your vote makes a difference. An election can be won or lost by one vote. So people must come out and vote so that they understand they've contributed to the changes that need to happen within the country.
It begins with the vote. It begins with changing the status quo. If we're going to change that status quo, we've got to take the issue of voting seriously.
Although the date for election is not known as yet, registration will take place between 8 o'clock in the morning until 5 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday. SABC News, Johannesburg.